continue our working day, and now I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ETO-related issues, Colonel Oleksander Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, dear journalists, and now the information on the events in the ETO area during the last 24 hours is to your attention. The situation in the east of Ukraine deteriorated. The enemy used heavy weapons in several areas of the front line. Despite this, in the result of the military action, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed or wounded. Military actions restarted in Lugansk area. The enemy fired with a 120mm mortar at our positions in Krymsk, and also another stronghold of Ukrainian troops came under fire and Donetsk area. During the last 24 hours, the enemy violated ceasefire many times, especially in Svetlodarska Bulge. Also, enemy carried out short-term mortar shelling, and to the south of Lugansk, they opened fire many times with grenade launchers and small arms. To the north of Gorlovka, between Simegiria and Novolugansk, yesterday there was a military clash, and after short-term firing, the militants retreated to the south. In other areas of the front line, near Gorlovka and Donetsk airport, the situation remains the same. There's low-intensity military actions without the use of heavy weapons. And the hardest shellings are to the west of Novgorodsky and near Opitne. In Mariupol area, the enemy violated ceasefire in several areas of the front line. Near Vodyane village, the militants launched 10 mines with 120mm mortar, and other provocations were carried out in the southern and western suburbs of Donetsk, Mariinsky region, and near Granitny village. According to the intelligence service of MOD, the conflict between the militants and their Russian officers escalates. Leaders of militant formations do not help families of those who were killed, especially in burying the dead militants. And also the intelligence service informs us that on the 9th of January, several militants were killed by friendly fire to the south of Donetsk airport. And also on the 5th Detached Motorized Brigade of DPR deployed in Donetsk, about 300 militants wanted to leave this formation because they were underpaid. And on the 1st of January, the leader of DPR, Zakharchenko, ordered the commanders of 1st and 2nd Army Corps DPR stopped the additional payment for the militants for the participation in the military action. They confiscate passports of the militants to stop them from leaving, and this information is confirmed by the militant nicknamed Commissar. And Ukrainian special services detained the member of Sparta militant group. He joined the group in June 2014, and he served in checkpoints, and now his confessions. I wanted to earn some money, and I joined military formation, Sparta battalion of DPR, and I had to serve at the checkpoint. And also I took part in repair works of the military equipment, and also brought some ammunition. And first they paid 5,000, then they stopped paying, and after several months of service, I was disillusioned in DPR ideas, and I left voluntarily the ranks of this battalion, and I returned home to my family. And I addressed all militants who now work for DPR to return to peaceful life. And also in Slavyansk, Ukrainian law enforcement officers detained a militant from Rus battalion. And when this town was seized by the militants in 2014, he was drunk and he was kept in the basement, and then he was forced to join the militants. And after leaving Slavyansk, he served in the ranks of the militants, but then he left them and hid from them. In Donetsk, SBU in Dobropilla town confiscated 2 grenade launchers RPG-26, 20 grenades F1, and also 1 more caches of arms. There were RPG-22, 12 grenades F1, and also police confiscated 26 hand grenades in Mariinska region, Kurakhova town. And also a man was detained who had 15 grenades F1, and they detained in the flat of the detained they found 11 more shells. And also they got in the there was a cache of arms in Shastya town in Lugansk village. There they found 9 grenades and 80 cartridges to machine gun. And the Ukrainian paratroopers undergo training, and they were taught different tactics of work with explosive materials and small arms. Thank you very much for your attention. Do you have questions? Thank you. Do you have some questions? If there's no questions, thank you very much. Thank you and goodbye. Colleagues, I remind you that our next briefing is at 2 p.m.